All right, so here we go. Welcome to the bright yellow yet quite dirty FJ Cruiser. As we're filming this, we're just getting last minute details organized for our Rent-To-Own Summit here in Kamloops. Got almost 100 people coming out to learn all sorts of great things about rent-to-own. By the time you're watching this, the summit will be over, and I'm intending for it to be an awesome success. Anyhow, this week's episode, a little bit different. Most of these episodes this summer have been a little bit different, but I was just down in Vancouver last week. Did a little bit of the tourist thing, went down to Chinatown with Andy and my son, and came across a very, very interesting building, the Sam Key building. And its claim to fame is it's actually the skinniest commercial building in the world at 1.5 meters in width. So it's like 5 feet wide at the base. I mean, it's crazy skinny. Now, that in itself is kind of interesting, but the story behind it is really the lesson that I want to share with you today. And that is, Sam Key was a very, very successful Chinese business person in Vancouver at the turn of the last century in the early 1900s. I think he built his original building on Pender Street in 1903. He had a successful commercial building, commercial business up and running. And then the city decided to widen Pender Street at that time. And they basically just confiscated the vast majority of the space of his commercial lot and said tough beans to him. Back in those days, you might recall, the Chinese were definitely second-class citizens in Canada. So he was not compensated anything for them basically confiscating all of this land. He had to rebuild this building. And first of all, people just thought he was going to give up and just walk away, especially his next-door neighbor. His next-door neighbor thought he was going to get a nice little extra chunk of land for free. So Sam, being the astute guy he was, plus being a maverick, said, screw you. Not only did he say screw you to his neighbor who wanted to take advantage of the situation and get his lot for free, he said screw you to the city. So he hired a architecture firm, and they built the skinniest building in the world, again 1.5 meters wide on the first floor. Second floor, he had bay windows out of it. He got very, very creative. So you had this little skinny building, became a real tourist type point of attraction. It got a lot of attention for him, great publicity. Plus, he built underground. So he used the space that he used to have underground, working out into the actually under the street. So you got the skinny building, you got all this stuff underground, and he had a very successful business out of that for many years. The building's still up. It's now an insurance agency. It's a point of interest. Tourist buses were going by while we were there. But it really brought home that teaching point to me, which is there's always a way. And if you're creative, you will find a way. So this holds so true for business, and this is a good example of business and real estate. He was definitely handed a bunch of lemons. He was screwed over big time. Most people would have quit right then. He didn't. He moved forward, and he prospered greatly from doing it. So the question is, when you come up against what appears to be a roadblock, and this seems to happen all the time. I mean, we're always coming up against what seems to be roadblocks. However, if there's a strength that I have, as I say, screw it. Let's find a way to do it anyhow. Work through it, work over it, work around it. There has to be a solution. And that is, from what I've seen from Darren Weeks, from what I've seen from Michael McLean, from what I've seen from Dan Locke, July Ono, all of the most successful people I know, they always find a way to make things work, even when the situation seems to be going completely against them. So that's your mindset minute. That's your real estate tip. That's your business breakthrough for this week, is always look for the solution, no matter how bad the problem might be.